Hello everyone. If you love heartwarming animal stories and want to follow the inspiring journey of these adorable friends, don't forget to hit the subscribe button now so you won't miss any of our videos. Now, let's dive into today's emotional story. Liam sat by the window, gazing out at the world beyond with a mixture of longing and hopelessness. The neighborhood kids were out playing, running and laughing, their carefree movements a stark contrast to his own stillness. He was 12 now, and while his peers seemed to grow stronger every day, he felt as if he were stuck in the same place, unable to break free. Born with a condition that made it difficult for him to walk, Liam had spent much of his life watching the world from the sidelines. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't keep up. His legs, though they looked normal to others, felt weak and uncooperative beneath him. His muscles had never developed the way they should, and every step he tried to take was met with pain and frustration. His parents, Sarah and Michael, noticed the growing despair in their son's eyes. Liam used to be full of life, but now, it seemed as if he had resigned himself to the fact that he would never be like the other children. He spent most of his time indoors, too embarrassed to face the world outside. His room had become his sanctuary, a place where he didn't have to confront the harsh reality of his limitations. The constant reminders of what he couldn't do were too much for him to bear. "Maybe we should try something new," Sarah said to Michael one evening, her voice heavy with concern. "I hate seeing him like this. It's like he's given up on everything." Michael nodded in agreement. "I think you're right. We need to find a way to get him to fight for himself again. But I don't know what will work. We've tried everything we can think of." Just then, their conversation was interrupted by the sound of an excited bark coming from the front yard. Sarah and Michael exchanged curious looks before heading to the door. Outside, standing at the foot of the porch, was a small, scruffy puppy wagging its tail energetically. It was a little bundle of joy, its eyes bright and full of life, a stark contrast to the gloom that had surrounded their son for so long. "Well, it looks like we've got a surprise," Michael said with a smile. Sarah's eyes softened as she knelt down to pet the dog. "Where did you come from?" The puppy barked happily, nuzzling against Sarah's hand as if it had found its new home. She looked up at Michael, her heart swelling with emotion. "Maybe this is the answer," she said, a spark of hope returning to her voice. Michael raised an eyebrow. "You think a puppy can help Liam?" "I don't know," Sarah replied, smiling. "But I think it's worth a try." They brought the puppy inside, and Liam watched them quietly from his room. He had heard the commotion outside, but he didn't feel like joining in. He didn't want to deal with the world anymore. But as the puppy bounded into the living room, his energy infectious, something inside Liam stirred. He couldn't help but watch from the doorframe, intrigued by the little creature's antics. The puppy, who they later named Buddy, quickly became a part of the family. It didn't take long for Buddy's playful nature to bring a smile to Sarah and Michael's faces, but they were most hopeful that he would be able to help Liam. The idea seemed absurd to Liam at first. How could a dog help him with something as big as his disability? But over the next few days, Buddy's presence started to break through the wall Liam had built around himself. The puppy was relentless in his affection, nipping playfully at Liam's feet and licking his hands, urging him to interact. Buddy's playful behavior was like a breath of fresh air in the otherwise quiet house. Every morning, Liam would wake up to find Buddy sitting by his door, waiting patiently for him to get up. His wagging tail seemed to say, "Let's start the day, Liam. Let's do something fun." And for the first time in a long while, Liam felt a flicker of something, maybe it was curiosity, maybe it was hope. But whatever it was, it began to chip away at the isolation he had been living in. Buddy's fearlessness was inspiring. The puppy didn't see the limitations that Liam saw in himself. He would run, jump, and chase after toys with a joy that was contagious. And while Liam watched from the comfort of his chair, he began to feel something inside him shift. Buddy wasn't letting anything hold him back, and perhaps, Liam thought, maybe he didn't have to be held back either. One afternoon, Liam's parents watched in awe as Buddy tugged at Liam's sleeve, encouraging him to stand. Liam hesitated at first, unsure of whether he could do it. But Buddy's persistence was unwavering. The puppy barked and wagged his tail, as if saying, "Come on, Liam. You can do this." With a deep breath, Liam slowly placed his hands on the arms of the chair, pushing himself up to his feet. His legs wobbled beneath him, but Buddy was there, his small body standing firm at Liam's side, providing both emotional and physical support. For the first time in years, Liam felt the ground beneath him shift, not because of his own doing, but because Buddy was there, making him believe that he could. The weeks that followed were filled with small but meaningful victories. Buddy never once gave up on Liam, and each day, Liam grew stronger. He would take small steps, sometimes with Buddy walking alongside him, sometimes with the puppy running ahead, urging him to keep up. Buddy never judged, never expected more than what Liam could give. His presence was a constant reminder that there was nothing wrong with trying, with failing, and with trying again. In the warmth of his home, surrounded by a family that supported him and a puppy that believed in him, Liam started to believe in himself again. As the days passed, Liam's bond with Buddy deepened, and so did his sense of hope. The puppy's antics became the highlight of his day. Buddy would chase his tail in circles or roll over onto his back, wagging his tail so furiously that Liam couldn't help but laugh. There was something so infectious about Buddy's energy, a reminder of the joy that life still had to offer, despite the difficulties Liam faced. But the journey was not always easy. Though Buddy had become a constant source of companionship, the pain in Liam's legs never truly went away. Every time he tried to stand for too long, his muscles would ache, and the discouragement would return. He would retreat into himself again, thinking that maybe he wasn't strong enough to overcome it. And yet, Buddy never left his side. The little dog would nudge him gently, as if to say, "Don't give up, Liam. You're not alone." One afternoon, Sarah watched from the kitchen as Liam sat on the couch, absently playing with a toy car in his hands. Buddy was at his feet, nudging at his leg, trying to get him to play. Sarah knew the puppy had become more than just a pet to Liam. Buddy was Liam's motivator, his personal cheerleader, always there when Liam needed him the most. "Hey, Liam," Sarah called, walking over to where her son Saturday. "How about we go outside for a bit? Buddy's been wanting to play." Liam hesitated. The thought of standing up again, of trying to walk outside, felt like too much effort. But then he looked at Buddy, who was wagging his tail with excitement, ready for whatever Liam decided. The way Buddy looked at him, with so much hope and trust, made Liam's heart swell. He took a deep breath, pushing himself up off the couch with Buddy at his side, offering his silent support. His legs wobbled slightly, and the familiar pain flared up, but he didn't let it stop him. With Buddy walking beside him, Liam took his first few steps toward the door. Each step felt like a victory. "Look at you, Liam," Sarah cheered from behind. "You're doing great." Liam looked down at Buddy, his eyes bright. The puppy's tail was wagging so fast it looked like it might fly off. He could feel Buddy's excitement, his encouragement, and his belief in him. Slowly, he began to walk outside, step by step. The fresh air was invigorating, and for the first time in a long while, Liam felt something other than frustration and pain. He felt hope. Buddy darted ahead, leading the way, his energy boundless. Liam followed, a little unsure but determined. It wasn't easy, and his legs ached with each step, but Buddy's unwavering spirit kept him going. The puppy would stop every so often to look back at Liam, as if checking in, making sure he was still there, still trying. It was during that walk, with Buddy by his side, that Liam realized something profound. He had been letting his disability define him for far too long. He had allowed his limitations to shape his view of himself. But now, with Buddy's boundless energy and determination as a guide, Liam felt the courage to take each step forward, not just physically, but emotionally as well. When they finally made it to the backyard, Liam felt a sense of accomplishment that he hadn't experienced in years. He had made it outside. He had made it with Buddy's help, but most importantly, he had made it because he had believed in himself, just like Buddy believed in him. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the yard, Liam sat down on the grass, exhausted but proud. Buddy immediately curled up beside him, resting his head on Liam's lap, as if to say, "We did it, together." And Liam knew, deep in his heart, that he was no longer defined by what he couldn't do. He was now defined by what he could achieve, with Buddy by his side. As weeks passed, Liam's confidence grew, just as Buddy's presence continued to inspire him. With each day, they faced new challenges, but the bond they shared made those challenges feel more surmountable. Buddy was a tireless companion, never faltering in his belief that Liam could do more, achieve more, and ultimately rise above the doubts that had once consumed him. But even with Buddy's unwavering support, there were still days when Liam struggled. The pain in his legs would sometimes feel unbearable, and the weight of frustration would threaten to pull him back into the depths of his doubts. He would lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about the world outside, the world he couldn't fully be part of. Buddy, as always, was there beside him, curling up on the bed and resting his head on Liam's chest, offering his silent comfort. One particularly tough afternoon, Liam found himself sitting on the edge of the couch, his hands clenched into fists. He could feel the anger rising inside of him, a frustration he had been holding back for so long. He felt like the progress he had made was slipping through his fingers, and that sense of helplessness threatened to overwhelm him. Buddy, sensing the shift in Liam's energy, trotted over to him and nudged his hand with his nose. Liam didn't move at first, too absorbed in his emotions to acknowledge his loyal friend. But then, Buddy climbed into his lap and licked his face, as if trying to say, "I'm here, Liam. I'm not going anywhere." Liam's heart softened, and slowly, he relaxed. He couldn't help but smile at the puppy's enthusiasm, at his ability to bring comfort even in the darkest of moments. "You're right, Buddy," Liam muttered under his breath, his voice thick with emotion. "I can't give up. Not now. Not when you're with me." Buddy wagged his tail vigorously, as if understanding every word. Liam took a deep breath, wiping his eyes, and with Buddy's presence beside him, he began to focus on what he could do, not on what he couldn't. He reached for Buddy's leash, and though his legs still ached, he was determined to take Buddy for a walk that day. Outside, the world seemed brighter. The sun had broken through the clouds, casting a warm glow over everything. As Liam and Buddy walked through the yard, Liam found himself thinking differently. He was no longer just walking for the sake of walking, he was walking because he wanted to. He was moving forward not because he had to, but because he was learning to embrace each step, to embrace the strength that Buddy had shown him all along. As they walked, Liam's thoughts began to shift. Instead of focusing on the difficulty, he began to focus on the progress. Each step, though painful, was a victory. Each breath, though labored, was a reminder that he was alive, that he was capable. With Buddy by his side, Liam no longer felt alone. He felt empowered. Buddy's antics, as always, brought laughter and joy to the moment. He ran ahead, chasing after a butterfly that fluttered in the air, and Liam couldn't help but laugh. For the first time in what felt like forever, the laughter came freely, without hesitation. As the walk continued, Liam's pace quickened. He felt more determined than ever. Buddy, noticing the change, kept running ahead, only to circle back and check on him. The puppy's boundless energy was infectious, and soon, Liam found himself running, too, a small but significant victory. By the time they returned to the house, Liam's legs were sore, but his spirit was soaring. He had taken another step forward, not just physically, but emotionally. He had faced his doubts, and with Buddy's support, he had risen above them. He no longer saw his disability as an obstacle. Instead, he saw it as a part of his journey, a journey that was far from over. Later that evening, as they sat on the porch together, Liam looked at Buddy with gratitude in his heart. "You're my best friend, Buddy," Liam whispered, scratching the puppy's ears. "I don't know what I'd do without you." Buddy rested his head on Liam's lap, wagging his tail softly. The connection between them was undeniable, a bond forged not just in love, but in the shared strength to overcome. Buddy had been there through every tear, every struggle, every victory. And with him by his side, Liam knew that no matter what lay ahead, he would never have to face it alone. As the days passed, the progress Liam made was no longer just noticeable to his family, it was undeniable. Every small milestone, every inch of ground gained, became a testament to his resilience, his will to push forward, and the unwavering support of his devoted companion, Buddy. Liam's bond with Buddy grew deeper with each passing day. The puppy had become more than just a pet. He had become Liam's anchor, his source of comfort, his constant reminder that no challenge was too great when you had someone by your side. Buddy's playful antics never failed to lighten Liam's mood, and his loyalty continued to inspire Liam to face each day with determination, even when the road ahead seemed uncertain. But as much as Buddy had helped, Liam knew that the true breakthrough would come when he could take that one step, the step that would mark the moment when he believed in himself as much as Buddy believed in him. It was a goal that had seemed impossible when he first started this journey, but now, it felt within reach. Buddy had shown him that nothing was impossible if you didn't give up. One rainy afternoon, while sitting in the living room, Liam turned to his parents, Sarah and James, his heart pounding. He had been practicing with Buddy in the backyard for weeks, and though he had made great progress, he hadn't quite taken the step he dreamed of, the step that would prove to himself that he could live a life free from limits. "I think I'm ready," Liam said softly, his voice quivering slightly with uncertainty. His parents looked at him, surprised by the sudden determination in his words. "Ready for what, Liam?" Sarah asked gently, her voice full of love and encouragement. "To take my first step without help," Liam replied, his gaze never wavering. He was ready to try. Buddy, sensing Liam's emotions, trotted over to him and nuzzled his hand. Liam smiled at the puppy, a mix of gratitude and hope filling his heart. He had made it this far because of Buddy's belief in him, and now, it was time for Liam to believe in himself. With Sarah and James standing by, their hearts full of pride, Liam stood up, gripping the armrest of the chair for support. His legs trembled, his body unsure of itself, but Buddy was there by his side, encouraging him silently, his warm eyes full of unwavering love. As Liam took a deep breath, he looked down at Buddy, and in that moment, something shifted inside him. The fear that had once gripped him seemed to dissolve, replaced by a powerful surge of hope. "Here I go," Liam whispered, and with Buddy's presence by his side, he took a step forward. It was slow at first, a shaky movement as Liam's legs struggled to hold his weight. But with Buddy right there beside him, Liam took another step. And then another. With each step, the world around him seemed to disappear, leaving only him and Buddy, the two of them moving together, as one. The shaky legs, the uncertainty, none of it mattered now. What mattered was the undeniable fact that Liam was walking. He was doing it. Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she watched her son take those first steps. James stood beside her, his chest swelling with pride and awe. It was a moment they had all waited for, but no one had known how powerful it would feel when it finally arrived. It wasn't just about Liam walking, it was about him finally believing that he could. As Liam reached the end of the living room, his heart was racing, but his smile was brighter than ever. He turned to Buddy, who was wagging his tail excitedly, as if he knew the significance of this moment, too. Liam crouched down and pulled Buddy into a tight hug, whispering, "We did it, Buddy. We really did it." Buddy licked Liam's face, his tail wagging even faster. There was no need for words between them, they both knew that they had just shared something extraordinary. The bond they shared had carried them both through the toughest moments, and now, that bond had helped Liam reach his goal. From that day forward, Liam continued to take small steps toward independence, with Buddy always by his side, offering support, love, and encouragement. There would still be challenges ahead, but Liam knew that with Buddy's unwavering support, there was nothing he couldn't face. Buddy, the little puppy who had once been full of energy and excitement, had become Liam's greatest teacher, his biggest cheerleader, and his most trusted friend. Together, they had learned that the greatest triumphs don't come from perfection, but from perseverance, courage, and the strength to keep going, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. As the weeks passed and Liam's steps grew stronger, the bond between him and Buddy only deepened. The future, once uncertain, now seemed full of possibilities. And with Buddy by his side, Liam knew that there was no limit to what he could achieve. Together, they had proven that with love, support, and determination, anything was possible. The story of Liam and Buddy carries a powerful message about perseverance, self-belief, and the transformative impact of love and companionship. Liam's journey highlights that while challenges and limitations may seem insurmountable, the support of a caring companion, whether human or animal, can make all the difference in overcoming them. Buddy, the puppy, played a pivotal role in encouraging Liam to push beyond his fears and doubts. His unwavering presence inspired Liam to keep going, even when the path ahead seemed difficult. This reflects the real-world power of relationships in helping individuals, especially children, face their struggles and unlock their potential. In life, many of us experience obstacles that make us question our abilities, but the support of loved ones, whether through words, actions, or even simple companionship, can provide the strength we need to persevere. Just as Buddy helped Liam take his first steps, we too can overcome challenges with the right encouragement and love. This story reminds us of the importance of resilience and belief in oneself, and how the bonds we form with others, whether human or animal, can help us achieve things we once thought were impossible.